Okay, hi. I've never really done this before, so I just wanted to do it really quick. I recently joined a new Facebook group, support group for parents of children with special needs. And I just wanted to share some things that I learned real quick because I see so many parents in the same situation that I found myself in years ago. I know when I started this whole wonderful roller coaster of parenting that I immediately started with the guilt, the mom guilt of, I don't know what I'm doing. Am I screwing my kid up? Am I disciplining right? Am I not disciplining enough? Am I disciplining too much? Am I too strict? Am I too lenient? I question myself every day, multiple times a day. And I don't know about you, but I still make a million mistakes a day. I still really have no clue what I'm doing. I guess I started seeing that there were issues with my son when he was about 3. Now, I've worked with children who have special needs, so when I initially saw the behaviors, I thought a lot of it was my fault. I thought they were attention-seeking behaviors. Attention-seeking behaviors, if you don't know, are behaviors that your children will do to elicit a specific response from you. At least 60% of all behaviors that you see, well, 90% in the average child that you see are attention-seeking behaviors. They're learned behaviors. It's what kids do. When they're little and they're testing boundaries, that's how they're learning. They're learning what they can get away with. They're learning how to get their way. They're learning how to manipulate you pretty much. And children are amazing at that. Even when you clue into it, they're still amazing at that. Children with special needs are different. What they are doing, yes, they are still like normal children in that they will try to manipulate you. They will. But they can't always control, they can't control their response. They can't control their thought process. Sometimes things are a little disjointed in there. It doesn't mean that you can't discipline them though. And I think that's what a lot of us struggle with. How do I get my child to listen? My kid can't listen because he's ADD or he's ADHD or he's autistic or things like that. No, that's not true. They can still absolutely 100% listen. You can still get the appropriate response that you need or desire. It just takes different techniques. And I don't know all those techniques. But anyhow, I just wanted to backtrack a little bit. I guess that's something to share another time. So many parents on here I see are worried about their 3 and 4 and 5-year-olds because they don't listen. They're not potty trained. They're getting up in the middle of the night. They are violent. They're aggressive. They're so many things that all kids are. But their kid has a diagnosis. Their kid is ADHD. Why is their kid ADHD? Because their pediatrician told them that they were, and they gave them a script. Your pediatrician on the hierarchy of things knows jack shit about mental health. They know the basics. They had freshman psych 101, just like anyone else who's gone to college. And they had a little bit more, granted, but their specialty is not mental health. Your pediatrician's job is to make sure that your child's healthy, to make sure that they're growing appropriately, that they have all the things that they need, things like that. If they see any variations upon that or any abnormalities, their job is to then, put you out to another professional to, be at the child's eyes, and you would go to an optometrist or an ophthalmologist. Maybe it's the child's lungs, so you would go to a pulmonologist or whatever that is. Their job is to make sure that you get the next step in what you need. When it comes to mental health, it's the same, but so many parents are stopping at their pediatrician. Your pediatrician is only going off about 20% of what they see in their 15 minutes with your child in that office, and they're going off of 90% of what you say. I guess so. I get about 15% to 85% there. You're not qualified to diagnose your kids. The pediatrician's not qualified to diagnose your kid. So why are you letting them medicate them, first of all? You're taking a pill to make your child react better. You don't know if that pill's going to work. And I'm going to tell you right now, you can take all the medication you want in the world. It's never going to fix it. It's not going to fix your child. Your child's not broken. Your child has a special need. Your child requires you to understand and do things differently. That's never going to happen with a pill. You have to do that with therapy. And sometimes as parents, we need the therapy too. With my son and I, we did PCIT. PCIT is called Parent-Child Interactive Therapy, for those of you that don't know, and it's done through a licensed clinical therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist, whomever. And it's pretty much like a child development class, but it's done with you wearing a headset and you have the therapist in your ear telling you what to do, how to respond. Because your children, like I said before, your children learn what they live. They will learn how to respond to things by how you respond to them. They'll learn to give the appropriate responses based upon if you're giving the appropriate responses. They also learn very quickly when they need to follow directions. One of the biggest things I learned with PCIT was that I needed to be consistent in not only my directions, I needed to give clear, concise, quick direction, and I need to have a clear response. I need to have a clear consequence, pretty much. And that's not just for a child who's ADD. It's just for any child. That's something across the board. It doesn't matter if the child is ADD or ODD or autistic or anything. You have to learn the appropriate responses. You're not going to get that from your pediatrician. So many of you out there, I know you want to be advocates for your kids. You need to start doing that by educating yourself first. And you can do that by seeking therapy. Our lives changed so much for the better. And my relationship with my kids, with both of my children, grew significantly after doing a course of PCIT and getting a mobile therapist for my son. If you need any help, I'm happy to share what limited knowledge I have. Like I said, I'm not a medical professional at all. But I can share you the knowledge that I have just, from being in the school system and going through this, tedious roller coaster with so many of you. But I just want to say, before you're so, quick to blame everything on a diagnosis or throw your hands up in your air and say that you're so frustrated because of a diagnosis, you need to find out if you actually have one. Because a lot of times it's not ADD or ODD. A lot of times it's learned behavior, and learned behavior comes from the parent. It comes from what you do. 90% of who your child is because of you. That's a hard thing to learn. It's a hard thing to deal with. But if we want our kids to have the best, most productive life and be the most amazing person that we know that they can be, we have to be the best person we can be for them. We have to be the best parent we can be for them. And that all starts with educating ourselves first. It doesn't start with a pill. Thank you. Bye-bye.